Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer number 4010-6-601 single acting spring hinge, steel base, black, bright japanned finish. Single acting spring hinge. This is an incredibly common spring hinge that you're going to see on a variety of different sorts of doors that are generally full size, that are non-template pattern, meaning that they're probably wood, and it's likely that they're an older door too. These hinges are, for some reason, and someday I hope to find out the answer, but incredibly common in New York City. Well, these aren't going to New York City, but it seems like most do for some reason. The hinge is a single acting spring hinge, very typical. Where I see these all the time is in the janitorial closets or doors to stairwells in hotels that will have fire-rated older wood doors installed in them all the time. And I think that you're going to run into a wood door application because it's a non-template sort of pattern. This does not fit into any sort of preparation in a steel frame that would be considered modern or standard whatsoever. Okay. Adjustable spring hinge. This single acting spring hinge is going to allow you to get away with heavier doors than normal. Here's what I mean. First of all, if you're dealing with a door up to 3 foot wide, okay, and assuming that you're at 7 foot sort of height, 2 of these would be applicable for a door that's 125 pounds. Now right there, that's a heavy door. That's a solid core 3070 door for sure. If your door is 155 pounds, 3 hinges. Maximum width for 2 hinges would be 3 foot. Maximum width for 3 hinges would be 4 foot. So they're saying if you had a 155 pound door and it was 4 foot wide, 3 of these spring hinges are rated for the job. Now I'm not I'm not a fan of spring hinges to close a door. I think that hydraulic control is the preferred way to go. But quite frankly, there are just simply installations that a door closer is not feasible, and spring hinges are, and they work. First of all, it's available in several different finishes. The 601 in the part number means that it's bright black japanned and that it's steel based. Your chromes, your bronzes, your brass finishes, all that's available. Oil rub bronze as well. There is a link below this video to the template. Now that shows everything important dimensionally about the item, so we won't beleaguer all the points there. But the 4010-6 is a reference to the height of the leaf. That's a 6-inch leaf. Okay. The rest of the dimensions are there specifically where the location of the screw holes are, so keep that in mind as well. You can refer to that document to compare it against an existing installation, should you like. Now the 4010, we've kind of worked in the part number in reverse, stands for their single acting spring hinge that is of this sort of design. Okay. There is a link below this video as well to the installation instructions, and they give everything important about the installation aspect that you will need to consider. With every order, you'll get a tension rod. It's a black piece of steel. With every hinge, you'll get a tension pin. Okay. This order for the client happens to have 2 hinges on it, so there are 2 tension pins. You will get screws. They've included all machine screws here, and I must admit that that is, to me, surprising. I would expect some wood screws in there for these. Machine screws is what they've sent. If you have a concern or a specific requirement regarding the combination of screws, please indicate that in the comment field when ordering the hinges, and we'll make sure that gets transferred down the road. This hinge is non-handed. You can install it for either a right-hand door or a left-hand door. When installing the hinge with the tension collar, which is this collar here, you can see that there's not one down here, pointed towards the top, your installation is going to be really simple to get this to work for you. So let's go over the installation instructions. First of all, install the hinges on the door and the jamb. Tension collar may be positioned up or down. but just keep the tension collar in the same direction for all the hinges on the door. That's important. Fasten hinges securely with the screws provided. We talked about that. Step 2, place door in closed position. Okay. Insert the tension rod or lever into the tension collar. And rotate the tension collar, it says. Now, when the tension collar is pointed towards the top, you rotate it clockwise. And as you do that, you reveal new additional holes. Now, if you were to have it down here, you'd obviously be rotating it counterclockwise. You're just we're turning it still in the same direction, but depending on where the tension collar is, pointed up or down. It's clockwise when up, counterclockwise when down. It's very simple. If you try to turn it the other way, it'll fight you. You'll know that something's wrong. It won't want to proceed. As you do that, you reveal those new holes. 3-hole maximum is what they're talking about. You insert into one of those new holes a tension pin. When you release the tension pin will make contact with the shoulder here, and that will set tension on the hinge. 3 holes of tension is recommended, but more may be required to close the door. If you are experiencing a higher amount that you have to set it to, and a noise that you hear, a creaking, you're definitely not with adequate quantity of spring hinges, so you'll want to reconsider that. You don't want the spring inside of there to break. Step 3, if closing action of door is too fast, decrease the tension, back it off a hole. If closing action is too slow, increase. 5 holes maximum of tension is recommended, so keep that in mind. If the door or hinges squeak or bind, they are not properly fitted and may require extra lubrication at the hinge joints. That's really in here and here, and quite frankly, there's a little bit of residue that is from the factory, as you can see there, and that's all it is. That would wipe off. Those points, as they indicate in the instructions, where to lubricate here and down here. And it's really because this is rated for a heavy door to begin with, and a large door. Okay. The last thing I'd like to point out too is the Bommer logo, and right above it says "Made in USA." That's a fact that Bommer is quite proud of, as am I to represent them. If you have any questions on the Bommer number 4010-6-601 single acting full mortise spring hinge or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us.